There are 7 things happening in your daily routine right now that are adding years to your face, and not one of them has anything to do with actual aging. I want you to sit with that for a second. Not your skin. Not your bone structure. Not the number on your last birthday cake. 7 habits. 7 small repeated choices, most of them taking under 2 minutes a day, that quietly tell the world you are older than you actually are every single time you walk out the door. The frustrating part is how invisible these habits become. You do them so often for so many years that they stop registering as choices at all. They simply feel like the way things are. And because nobody close to you is going to point them out because that conversation feels too personal, too risky, too unkind to have out loud, these 7 things keep quietly working against you year after year completely unchecked. I am going to name every single one of them today. Not to embarrass you, to free you. Because once you can see a habit clearly, you can change it, often in a single afternoon. Thing number 5 on this list is the one that surprises almost every woman who hears it described, because it has absolutely nothing to do with beauty, makeup, or clothing at all. It lives somewhere completely different, and the moment I explain it, you are going to recognize it instantly in either yourself or someone you love deeply. Stay until the end, because by the time this video is over, you are going to have 7 specific, completely actionable changes, and most of them will cost you nothing beyond a little bit of awareness. Welcome back, beautiful. So glad you are here. And if you are brand new, welcome to Ageless Glow, where women over 60 discover how to look genuinely stunning without spending a fortune. Hit subscribe and let us get into these 7 things right now. Tap subscribe and the bell so you never miss a video. New tips every single week made specifically for you. Now let us go. Every single thing on today's list shares one quality in common. It is small enough that nobody ever stops to question it, and significant enough that once it becomes a daily habit, it quietly reshapes how the entire face, body, and presence is read by everyone who encounters it. None of these require a dramatic overhaul. They require awareness first and then one specific repeatable change. 7 things. 7 fixes. Let us walk through every single one together in detail so you leave this video with a complete and genuinely usable plan rather than just a list of things to feel bad about. Thing 1. Sparse, undefined eyebrows. The first thing that quietly ages a face more than almost any single feature is thin, sparse eyebrows that have been left completely undefined. Eyebrows naturally lose density with age. Individual hairs thin out over time, grow back patchy in spots that were once fully covered, or in some cases simply stop growing back at all in places that were plucked decades ago during a completely different decade of beauty trends. The result, when left untouched, is a face that reads as subtly unfinished, almost as though a frame has gone missing from a painting that desperately needed one. The eyes lose their definition, the entire upper face reads as softer and less structured than it actually is, and the brain interprets that lack of structure as tired, faded, and significantly older than the woman wearing it actually is. The fix here takes genuinely under 2 minutes once the habit is built. A brow pencil or a brow powder, in a shade carefully matched to your natural hair color rather than your original hair color from 30 years ago. Applied in small, light, feathery strokes that follow the natural direction your brow hair already grows in. You are not drawing a new brow on top of your face. You are rebuilding the shape that was always meant to be there, and has simply faded with time. Finish the entire look with a clear or softly tinted brow gel, to hold every hair in place for the full day ahead. The goal here is never a bold, dramatic, instantly noticeable brow. The goal is quiet, natural restoration. Thing 2. Pale, undefined lips with no color at all. The second thing is one of the fastest aging habits in existence, and almost nobody connects it to actual aging at all, because it feels like such a minor, harmless choice. Lips naturally lose some of their pigment, their fullness, and their natural definition over time, and the very common habit many women fall into, wearing absolutely no lip color at all, or relying solely on a completely clear, untinted balm, leaves the entire lower half of the face looking flat, pale, and quietly washed out. Without any color or shape pulling attention toward the mouth, the whole complexion reads as paler and more tired than it genuinely is, and the face as a whole loses one of its most important and most easily restored points of focus. The fix is genuinely simple and takes under a minute, once you are comfortable with the steps. Start with a lip liner in a shade close to your natural lip tone. Use gently to slightly redefine the outer edge of the lip that has softened with time. Follow this with a cream or satin finish lipstick in a warm rose, a soft coral, or a muted berry tone, whichever feels most like you. This is not about wearing a bold, dramatic red lip every single day if that is not your style. This is about restoring the natural color and definition that quietly faded away without anyone, including you, fully noticing it happen. Thing 3. The forward head and rounded shoulder slump. The third thing on this list has nothing whatsoever to do with your face, and everything to do with how your entire body has quietly reshaped itself over years of small, repeated movements. Years upon years of looking down at phones, at screens, at books and tablets, gradually pull the head forward and round the shoulders inward, even in women who genuinely believe their posture is perfectly fine. This forward head and rounded shoulder position does something dramatic and immediate to the entire silhouette the moment someone looks at you from across a room. It shortens the visible length of the neck. It compresses the chest area. It creates a slightly stooped, slightly smaller appearance that reads as significantly older before a single wrinkle, a single gray hair, or a single line is even noticed by the person looking at you. The fix begins with one simple, repeatable daily check. Several times throughout your day, gently draw the shoulders back and down away from the ears. Lift the chin just slightly so that your ears align directly over your shoulders rather than sitting in front of them, and hold that position for a few slow, deliberate seconds. Repeat it consistently across several weeks. This single small correction genuinely retrains the body's natural resting position. A simple posture reminder app on your phone, or even something as low-tech as a small sticky note placed on your bathroom mirror, is often genuinely all it takes to build this habit permanently into your day. Thing 4. Outdated or ill-fitting glasses frames. The fourth thing lives directly on your face every single day of your life, and most women have not honestly reconsidered it in well over a decade. Glasses frames that are too small for the current proportions of your face, too dated in their overall shape, or simply sitting at the wrong scale for who you are right now, are one of the most overlooked aging factors that exist anywhere in a woman's daily presentation. A frame that was carefully chosen 10 or 15 years ago, for a slightly different face shape and a slightly different set of facial proportions, can sit awkwardly and unflatteringly now, drawing unwanted attention to exactly the areas a woman would genuinely rather soften rather than highlight to the world. The fix here does not require an expensive new prescription. It requires only a fresh, honest frame selection the next time you visit your optician. Look specifically for frames that are slightly larger and more current than the very small, narrow shapes that were popular a decade or more ago. In a color that genuinely complements rather than disappears completely into your skin tone or your hair color. A frame with a gentle upward angle at the outer corner can lift the entire eye area visually in much the same way a well-placed eyeliner trick does, creating an immediate and noticeable difference the very first time you put them on. For things down and 3 more to go, including the one that surprises almost everyone watching this. If any of these first 4 are already making you think differently about your daily routine, please take a moment right now to hit the like button. It genuinely helps this video reach more women over 60 who deserve to hear exactly this information. Drop a comment below and tell me which of these 4 you genuinely recognized in your own routine. I read every single comment personally. Share this with a friend who needs to hear this just as much as you did today. Now let us finish strong with the final 3. Thing 5. Talking about your age before anyone even asks. Here it is. Thing number 5. The one that surprises almost every woman who hears it described, because it has absolutely nothing to do with beauty, skin, hair, or clothing whatsoever. It is a verbal habit. The constant, unprompted habit of referencing your own age in everyday conversation, even when nobody asked, even when it has no real relevance to what is being discussed. Well, at my age. I'm too old for that now. You know, when you get to be my age. These small phrases feel completely harmless in the moment. They might even feel self-deprecating in a charming, humble sort of way. But repeated often enough, they do something genuinely damaging that has nothing to do with how you actually look, and everything to do with how people are quietly trained to perceive you. Every time you announce your age before anyone has asked or even noticed, you are handing the people around you a lens through which to view everything else about you. They stop seeing simply a woman in a room. They start seeing a woman who is constantly, actively reminding everyone of her age, and the brain naturally begins to age her appearance to match the story she keeps telling out loud. The fix is genuinely simple, though it requires real conscious effort to build. Let your actions, your energy, and your presents speak entirely for themselves. Stop volunteering the number. Nobody is checking. And the moment you stop announcing it, you will notice something remarkable. People stop thinking about it either. Thing 6. Heavy, cakey foundation in the wrong formula. The sixth thing is a makeup habit that has not genuinely been updated in years for most women, often simply because the formula that worked beautifully at 40 does not behave the same way on the skin now. A heavy, full coverage, completely matte foundation, applied the exact same way it always has been for years, sits very differently on mature skin than it did decades earlier in life. Skin naturally loses some of its own oil production with age, and a heavy matte formula that does not account for that very real change settles directly into fine lines, sits flat and dull across the surface of the skin, and creates a slightly mask-like quality that reads as significantly older than a more luminous, lighter weight formula would ever create on the very same face. The fix here is genuinely a formula change rather than a technique change. Switch to a lightweight, dewy or satin finish foundation, or even a simple tinted moisturizer, applied with a slightly damp sponge in one thin, even layer rather than a thick, heavy one. Add a small amount of cream highlighter directly to the high points of the cheekbones for a naturally luminous quality that catches the light beautifully. This single switch from heavy matte to light and luminous is one of the fastest, most genuinely transformative changes available on this entire list, and it costs nothing beyond the price of the new formula itself. Thing 7. Dressing entirely for comfort and never for intention. The seventh and final thing on this list is the one that quietly ties every other habit together, because it touches every single outfit you put on for the rest of your life. Reaching exclusively every single day for the same shapeless, completely unstructured, purely comfort-driven clothing, with absolutely no consideration for fit, color, or silhouette, sends a very specific and very unintentional message to anyone who sees you. It is not that comfort itself is the problem. Comfort is genuinely important and should never be sacrificed entirely. The actual problem is the complete absence of any intentional decision layered on top of that comfort. When every single piece of clothing you own exists purely to be easy and forgettable, the overall impression created is one of someone who has quietly stopped making active choices about how she presents herself to the world. The fix does not require an expensive new wardrobe or hours spent shopping. It requires one small, deliberate addition to whatever you are already comfortably wearing. A single piece of jewelry chosen with intention. One structured layer added over a soft, comfortable base. A single rich color worn somewhere near the face. These small additions cost almost nothing and take only a moment, yet they completely transform the message your outfit sends, shifting it from someone who has stopped trying into someone who is comfortable and confidently herself, all at once. 7 things. 7 fixes. None of them requiring anything dramatic, expensive, or out of reach. Sparse eyebrows restored with a simple pencil and gel in under 2 minutes. Pale, undefined lips brought back to life with a liner and a soft, warm color. The forward head slump corrected with a few seconds of posture awareness, repeated consistently throughout the day. Outdated glasses frames refreshed with a slightly updated shape at your next eye exam. The habit of constantly announcing your own age quietly retired for good. Heavy, cakey foundation replaced with a lighter, more luminous formula that genuinely works with your skin rather than against it. And shapeless, purely comfort-driven dressing elevated with one small, intentional addition that costs almost nothing. None of these 7 changes require you to become someone different. They simply restore what time and habit quietly softened, one small deliberate choice at a time starting today. Subscribe to Ageless Glow if you have not already. Comment below and tell me which of these 7 you are fixing first. Share this with a friend who deserves to hear exactly this. And hit that like button before you go. Until next time, looking old was never inevitable. It was always just 7 small habits. And now you know exactly how to fix every single one of them.